just before the rising water touched the longest legs, those of Sir Llasad, it stopped. We were all watching the water silently. When we were sure it had stopped rising, we let out a simultaneous grateful breath. Sir Tettedebonnon chuckled to himself. Hano smiled. We were stuck on that ledge for hours afterward. Hano broke what was left of his flat cake and shared it with all of us. With nothing better to do, we spoke of our past and how we had got here. Sir Llasad told us of how he came to serve the mycelium mage, and how, when the mage was younger, Sir Llasad used to be proud to serve them. Together they travelled the land and used mushrooms to make medicine for the sick. The mage would use their magics to defend forests, when humans sought to destroy them in order to build mines or to strip their timber. Over time, the mage changed. They began to hate humanity. Perhaps they'd seen too many people hurting each other. Perhaps they'd seen too many beautiful forests destroyed for the love of money. Perhaps it was something the mushrooms had whispered to them. Or perhaps they'd eaten a bad mushroom. Whatever caused that growing shard of evil ice in the mage's heart, they became cold and selfish. Having vowed to serve the mage, Sir Llasad wouldn't abandon them. He was sad that the mage was dead. He mourned. If not the mycelial mage that was, he mourned the mycelial mage from his memories. He was glad he could leave, and perhaps serve a worthier master. Free-to-think told us of living with the humans before being taken to fairyland. Hers was a sorry tale. She told us how they kept her in a locked pen, and that she was never allowed to go outside to see the sun. They had poked her with sharp spears, and when she had cried, they would collect her tears in crystal vials. At the time she had no idea why they did it, but now she understood. Her tears were important for making magic work. Those tears were the fuel for magic. That was why the mycelial mage had captured her. Sir Tettedebonnon told us of his life in the castle. He led the Queen's knights, and he loved doing so. His knights were all honourable men and women, and he liked their company. He disliked dealing with the Queen, though. She lied to everyone around her, and was far too fond of money. She made him feel a fool for trying to be an honourable person. He mentioned that he began to suspect that a few of the voices in the cave he had heard, that had led him to charge into the cave, were not demons, but merely the echoes of his own shouts. Maybe, he said, there had only been one demon, rather than 5. Hano told everyone of his meeting with the Fairy Queen, how distasteful he had found talking with her about how much he should be paid. Sir Llasad said that he would hate to have to argue about how much he should be paid. Much easier just to serve one master, rather than rent oneself out for a different price every day, he said. So Tettedebonnon agreed, saying that it was dishonourable to bargain constantly for how much your services were worth to another. The only honourable course was to dedicate yourself to service, through thick and thin. Free-to-think remained silent. Then Hano told us of how he found his swords, katana and wakizashi. That was the longest story. One I'll have to tell you a different time, friend. But once he had done, we noticed the water had receded, and we could continue through the cave once more. It took us another hour to emerge from that cave. The passage at the other end of the bridge was long, but straight, ascending slowly. We could barely make out the walls from the air, it was so dark. The torches had been extinguished from the rising floodwaters. The only light came from a lonely mushroom glowing healthily, or from the starry cave ceiling. The ground was thick with mud, and my paws were filthy by the time we saw the faint light up ahead. We knew what it was right away, the sun.
"Thank the gods!"
Sir Tettedebonnon cried as he ran out of the entrance of the cave and emerged into the light. The rain had stopped, and the orange colour of the setting sun shone through the dense canopy of the forest. It was good to see honest sunlight again. Sir Llasad thanked us, and told us that he was going to walk on through the forest and move to the human kingdom to see if he could serve as a knight there. We waved him goodbye and set back toward the castle. After a while, Sir Tettedebonnon spoke to Free-to-think.
Why did you lie to Sir Llasad? His master, the mycelial mage, is not dead. They escaped.
I lied to save his life. If he had insisted on staying on that bridge, he would have been swept away and drowned. I think that he would have chosen that. I think that he would have been willing to die to guard that bridge, as he had promised. I admire him, but that doesn't mean I will follow his code.
Free-to-think said. Sir Tettedebonnon said nothing, but frowned. The sun set before we reached the castle, so we sat down to camp. Hano opened his knapsack and withdrew a large sheet. He tied the corners to several trees, so we could sleep on the ground without being rained on in the night. The night was cool, and we slept well. When we awoke the next morning, Free-to-think was nowhere to be found. What we did find was a note, written by Free-to-think, in very shaky writing, with paper and pen that she had found in Hano's rucksack.
Hano, I am sorry to leave you like this. I have left, not because you are untrustworthy, but because I am afraid. I am afraid of what you and Sir Tettedebonnon will do once we get to the castle. Unfortunately, I am valuable, which means I am in danger from everyone. The humans wanted me for my tears. The mage wanted me for my tears. And they were both incredibly cruel to me. I am sad to be leaving you, my first friend, but this is a risk I cannot take. I will not lose my freedom again. Like Sir Llasad, I will build a life in the human kingdom. It feels selfish of me not to trust you. It feels like I am putting my own needs above my respect for you. You have been kind and nice to me. I think that you will probably not give me up to the Queen. But you might. You might be forced to. There is a chance, and that's a chance I won't take. My own freedom and happiness are too valuable to me. This is a hard thing for me to tell you, but I must, because I won't leave you without explaining why. I wish you well in the future, Hano. I hope to meet you again someday. Perhaps when I am better able to protect myself and can therefore trust you. By the way, upon hearing your story and Sir Tettedebonnon's, I had a thought that might be useful for you. The first-ranked ninja that the Queen said was so much better than you. Have you, or anyone else, ever seen her?
It was another few hours' walk in the morning sun before we reached the castle. The castle servants gave the three of us food and water, for which we thanked them repeatedly. Before long, we were taken to the throne room to meet with the Queen once again. So, you have returned with Sir Tettedebonnon, as I told you, but you have failed to return with my pig. Do you wish to have a reputation as a man who only does half a job, Hano? I presume you'll be heading out again soon? The Queen said. No, I won't, my Queen. I am afraid I have business elsewhere. I will take my 12 bronze pieces for returning Sir Tettedebonnon. Perhaps you could contact the greatest ninja. I'm sure she would be much more capable of the task than I, Hano said. A gold coin, the Queen snarled. Hano said nothing. 2 gold coins, she shouted. My lady, it is impossible, Hano shrugged. Fine. Can you then tell me if you saw any sign of the pig? I'm going to send my wolves out to hunt it down. I will pay you 3 gold coins for any information as to whither it has run off to, she said. Hano looked up at this. 12 gold coins. 12 gold coins! She looked furious. Sir Tettedebonnon? Sir Tettedebonnon looked at Hano. Hano quickly said, The only information I learned about the pig I gathered before Sir Tettedebonnon and I met. Being your faithful servant, and knowing you to be a good queen, I am sure he would tell you if he knew. Sir Tettedebonnon nodded slowly, still looking at Hano. And you are no faithful servant, Hano. daring to ask for an amount far greater than you deserve," the Fairy Queen shouted. "If you think that my information is too expensive, that's fine. I'll be on my way, my queen," Hano said. The Fairy Queen snarled. "You know I don't have to pay to get information out of you." From behind her, behind us, and against the walls, I heard the clanking of armour as muscles tightened and hands hovered over the handles of swords. The Queen's guards readied themselves. "Of course, my queen. But I don't think that the realm's greatest heroes, knights, fighters, and sailors would come to your castle to help you in the future, if they knew that that might be how they'd be rewarded," Hano said, in a calm voice. The Fairy Queen looked darkly at him. "Very well. Tell me where that pig might be found, and I'll give you your 12 coins. But if I find that I've been misled, I will not rest until you lie in chains in the dungeons beneath my castle, never to see a sky again." I heard from a lone traveller that they had seen a pig. The pig was running away from the forest, away from the human kingdom, toward the south and the desert mountain land, Hano said. At this the Queen dismissed us with disgust and sent Sir Tettedebonnon to pay Hano his 12 bronze pieces and 12 gold pieces. We were told to leave the castle before the sun was highest in the sky. We stood outside the great iron door of the castle. We weren't waiting long before Sir Tettedebonnon approached us. He still wore his helmet, so we couldn't see his face, but somehow it was still obvious that he was upset.
"You lied, and for money,"
Sir Tettedebonnon whispered loudly, although there was no one nearby. "And I'd do it again. I don't like lying, but I couldn't think of any other way to save Free-to-think. I demanded money because... well, partly because I thought that the Queen would take my directions more seriously if I demanded money for them. But also, I'm unsure whether I deserve that money. But I know that the Queen doesn't. So, there's no reason why I oughtn't to get more money. I suppose I've put you in danger by involving you in my lie. I think you deserve at least 6 gold pieces, Sir Tettedebonnon," Hano said.
"No, I have no need for more money in my life. Farewell, Hano. I wish you well, wherever life takes you,"
Sir Tettedebonnon said. We left the castle and headed toward the nearby village, toward soft beds and a warm dinner. And that, my friend, is the tale of how we met Free-to-think the pig, Sir Llasad of the Dark Brain, and Sir Tettedebonnon. Now that you have heard the tale of how indispensable I was, and how often I, Tabi, saved Hano, you understand why I was such a useful companion for him. Some day I will write more to you of our adventures together, for there is much more to tell.